to help you as you work through the assignment 301 Multiview Drawings with CAD. This version, we're going to use Fusion 360. So before you proceed, make sure that you have Fusion 360 installed and running. Okay, so in the assignment in Canvas, I have given you a copy of the multi-view drawing template. So what you would do is click here and make your own copy, and you will bring up a template like this. The first thing that you should do is put your name and the period right here. So I'll just put Mr. Runyon, and this is period. I'll call it 7. We don't have 7 periods, do we? Okay, now let's step through each of these. So I have pulled up Fusion 360, and it looks kind of like this when I start. Let me reduce this just a little bit so it's in the window. There we go. We've got some important pieces to this program that you need to be aware of. So first of all, we have this piece right here. This is the navigation pane, or navigation part. And what it does is allows you to move the model. There is a little button when you hover over it that's a home button that takes you back to the standard view. Other things that you'll need to be aware of are the tools. Oops, let's see here. Are the tools down here that were right down here. So let me unhide this tool again and I'll show it up right here down at the bottom. So we have an orbit tool, we have a panning tool, zooming tools, and in my version I have different other display options. Not all of them do. So the next part that we need to be aware of is over on this side, where we have document settings, named views and things. We'll use this from time to time. And the last part is the tool ribbon. Right now it's selected as solid. We have other options we can choose. And the one that we'll use most often is create sketch. This is where we start to draw. And we'll use extrude. There are a bunch of other tools that you can play with and use. Eventually we'll use several of them. Okay, so let's look at the assignment briefly and see what it is that we need to do. Okay, so the first page here says, use a CAD program to draw this object. Insert a screenshot, isometric or perspective view into the model space. And so we're going to replace this part here with the model. So it's important to notice the different views. The top view shows that the object is 5 millimeters deep. It is 30 millimeters wide and 30 millimeters tall. So let's remember that and place that into our drawing. Okay, so if I set this off to the side, yeah, I know this is kind of weird. And here we go. Okay, so as I recall, we need to do, let's start with the front. So you'll notice here the front is right here, 30 millimeters wide. Okay, so we'll start with that. Now I have found that it's easiest, so that we don't get confused with our views, to click on the box here, this navigation box. Click on front and get it so that the drawing is facing us directly from the front. Now we'll start with Start Sketch. And we'll click on this box here. Then it opens up all sorts of tools that we can use. For this one, we're going to use a 2-point rectangle. So what we do with this is we're going to start at the origin, click once, move your mouse, not drag, off in the direction that you want to go. You can go more or less, just as long as you're in the correct direction. Now, as we remember, this was 30 millimeters wide, so I type 30, and I can do millimeters, but because it's default to 30 millimeters, we're okay. Then press Tab. It'll go to the next box. We do 30 again, and then we press Enter or Return on the keyboard. Okay, now we're almost done. We've drawn the box. We now need to finish the sketch. So I click on Finish Sketch. And then let's look at it from the home view. It'll put it into like a 3D perspective. Notice that it's just a flat pane right now. We need to give it some depth. So what we'll do is use a tool called Extrude. It's right here. Click on Extrude, and now it gives us an option. There's lots of options here on the pane. We don't have to worry about that at this time. But you see that it's already selected, ready for me to start typing. As I recall, the object that we're drawing is 5 millimeters deep. So I'm going to push 5 and return. It automatically does 5 millimeters. Now, before I take my screenshot, I want to back it out to the normal view, like this. And then we'll use the tool. On Windows, you use Windows Shift S. On a Macintosh, you do Command Shift 4. And then you drag the part over like this to take your picture of the object. And then on the model, we're going to paste, or not on the model, but on the slideshow, you're going to paste this copy in the model view. Just paste it over top. If you still see this other part, just delete it so it's out of there. Okay, that's the first one. Now we don't want to get rid of this object because we're going to use it here in a few minutes to finish or to start the next object. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, save it, and then proceed with the next one. So this is just part one of many.